Hi again guys, I'm back with another unboxing for my latest order from Meffert.com. This one in the box is this one. Wow, this is quite heavy actually. One I've wanted for quite some time yet again. Never quite got around to it. Just look at the shape of this, it's less pillowed than I was expecting. This is, as you can probably see now, the Pyraminx variant, and it's the Professor Pyraminx. I've got the, how many bags is it in? I've got the normal Pyraminx, obviously, and I also have the Master Pyraminx. This is the Professor Pyraminx. Oh, that's a bit stiff. Yeah, it's quite a stiff turn. It's not terrible or anything. It turns quite smoothly. It just takes a little bit more effort than I was expecting. I don't know if it's just too tight or whether it's a feature of the puzzle. But yeah, that looks really cool. So yeah, let me just grab my Master Pyraminx to compare. And a regular Pyraminx as well, actually. So obviously that's the regular Pyraminx, so size wise it's pretty comparable, in fact it's almost identical. And here's the Master Pyraminx, also designed by Timur Evboturov, hoping I pronounced his name correctly there. And again, basically the same size, but you can see there's much less curve on the Professor than there is on the Master Pyraminx, even on the faces, which is interesting. If anything, I was expecting more pillowing rather than less. So yeah, whereas you've got 2 layers on the Pyraminx, plus the, knocking my puzzle on the floor, plus the trivial tips, you've then got the Master Pyraminx with 3 layers, 1, 2, 3, and the trivial tip, and of course one more layer means the Professor Pyraminx with 1, 2, 3, 4 layers and the trivial tip, which is even more difficult to turn. So yeah, it's not going to be too difficult to solve, I don't imagine. I didn't have much trouble with the Master Pyraminx, and the Pyraminx obviously is fairly straightforward. But yeah, this looks really cool, very good quality. The stickers, the placement leaves a little bit to be desired, to be honest, and some of them are a bit smaller than they need to be as well, so you've got big black outlines, but you can see that they're not particularly central. Some of these, I mean, that one there is nowhere near central, so I'm probably going to have to adjust some of these, which I do find a little bit irritating. And then this green one's the same, and these ones down the edges, they're in completely different positions to each other. I don't expect them to be absolutely millimetre perfect or anything, but I expect a little bit of care and attention to detail, and I do find it a little annoying. I'd rather put them on myself than have them in that condition, but oh well. So yeah, I think the only thing left to do is give this a scramble and see what it looks like in its fully scrambled state. Yeah, the turning quality is absolutely fine, but as I say, it just requires a little bit of effort, and it clearly needs to be quite well lined up. So I was just seeing if it clicked into position like a regular Pyraminx. It doesn't seem to. God, them tips are tight. The tips certainly click into position. I do apologise for my neighbour's annoying dog, if you can hear it barking in the background. Yeah, I do wonder if a bit of lube or a bit of tensioning might help this, but it's definitely a little bit stiffer than I would have expected. It's not unbearably bad or anything, but yeah, it's definitely a bit more difficult to turn than I would have hoped. But I mean, the turning, as I said, the turning itself is smooth enough. There's no real catching or appearance of wanting to pop or anything like that, but yeah, it's just stiff to get moving. And with my hands the way they are, sometimes it might cause me a little bit of pain because I'm having to grip it quite hard to turn. But yeah, I think that's scrambled now. I'll go away and have a try at solving it and get back to you when I've done so. Okay, so as you can see, the puzzle's solved again. I must admit I did this one a bit of a disservice in my earlier comments. It's more tricky than I imagined. It took me, I don't know, probably a couple of hours to solve this one. The problem I was having was figuring out exactly how to reduce it, what I needed to reduce it. Well, I knew what I needed to reduce it to, but figuring out which pieces I need to reduce in what order was what took a little time. And then I kind of encountered some parity problems that took me a while to figure out how to get around. As it turned out, it was a very easy fix for the parity problem, but in hindsight is a wonderful thing. It was difficult until I realised exactly what I needed to do, and as soon as I realised that, it became easy and it worked perfectly, which was nice. But yeah, a lot of fun this one. I thoroughly enjoyed solving it. It's challenging without being too challenging. If you've solved the Pyraminx and the Master Pyraminx, it's a nice step up in difficulty without being ridiculously difficult, but it certainly adds some extra difficulties to the solve without any doubt whatsoever. Turning quality is still a little bit stiff, but it's turned okay. I did have one small pop in the solve, which was one of these little edge pieces here. I think I could probably just, oh, maybe not. I thought maybe I'd just pop it out quickly to show you what it was. It's only got a tiny little lip on it, so it's not surprising that might pop out occasionally. But I was lucky that I'd already solved the pieces around it, so I knew exactly where it needed to go and what orientation it needed to be, so it wasn't difficult to put back in and carry on the solve. But yeah, the turning quality is absolutely fine. It's just still got that little bit of stiffness that I mentioned earlier. But I didn't have any real difficulty turning it or lining it up or anything during the solve, so the quality of it is absolutely fine. It's just, I might try lubing it a bit, try a drop of Mario lube, see if that makes any difference to it. But otherwise, I'm not really too worried. It turns absolutely fine, as I said. It just requires a slightly more effort than you might normally do on, say, the Master Pyraminx, that's all. But yeah, definitely a fun puzzle. I definitely recommend this one, although it might be something you'd want to kind of build up to by doing the Master Pyraminx first if you haven't done one of those. But it would obviously be more challenging if you haven't done that first, but that's not necessarily always a bad thing, of course. But yeah, it's what did I pay for this? $36, $38. Whichever one it was, I think it's good value for money for what you get. It's quite a complex puzzle, and it's, yeah, a fun and challenging solve. So yeah, definitely one that's worth considering for your collection if you like the Pyraminx, if you like the idea of a high order Pyraminx. Alright then guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time.